Good morning.
Good morning. I feel like I haven't been on this call in ages. Work is just life is getting in the way of life is getting in the way of life.
I know the feeling. Good morning, Claudine.
Good morning. Princess, I just need to step away for 5 minutes to take a call, okay?
Yes, no problem.
Thank
Morning,
you.
Shannon. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning.
All right, we'll wait for some more folks to trickle on in here. Good morning, Marina, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gunnar.
Hey, good morning, Princess.
Right. Been a while. We're just talking about how long it's been since we've been on.
Has been a
It's been
while.
so busy. Right. A few more folks trickling in. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning.
I think we're good to call the meeting and start. I just wanted to give a couple minutes, see if Crust was going to be coming in this morning. All right. Message him. How's it going, Peter? Been busy?
Yep. I'm trying to wind down.
Yeah.
Peter's not actually leaving us next week. It's all a myth.
Oh. I know.
It's all a myth until I have to hand in my phone and laptop next Thursday. So.
Oh God.
Oh. Now we know it's real. Now we know it's real. All right, so let's get started, and then Cress will jump on in when he gets a chance. And so welcome everyone. We'll call the meeting for 11:04 this morning. This is Princess DDS speaking. Today is our final DDS Engagement Committee meeting this morning. So we are wrapping it up. So we're going to follow through the agenda and get like the latest updates as to what's been going on. It's been pretty busy in the regions with updates and just really great things going on. Gunnar, Peter, and Lauren just has been doing a phenomenal job with this transition, keeping us updated, and just all these great informative events and activities that's been happening. So speaking as a staff myself, much appreciated. And with that, we'll just get into the agenda for the updates. Peter, would you like to start with the ARPA updates? Kind of bring us
Sure.
around for an overview.
Sure. Let
All right.
me share my screen. If I can find it.
And I'm going to turn my screen off just because I'm getting glitchy here.
Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
So, at this point, we have 19, I think we have 19 plans at this point. And we still have 4 that are to be still approved. We have 19 that were submitted. We have there's 16 that have been approved, and we got 15 that have been approved, and we have 4 that are still working their way through the approval process. But I wanted to give everybody an idea of where we're at, because it's been a while. So if everybody remembers, we have a target for our day program of 200 individuals moving from a congregate setting, which is a DSO type setting, or moving from a GSE to ISE type of setting. And we have 100 individuals that our goal is to move from a congregate residential setting like a CLA group home or a CRS to more community-based independent settings like supported living, shared living, and individualized apartments. So that's kind of what our goal was. And so to give you an idea of where we're at, and this is, I'll put that what we're pretty much believing that those plans will all be approved. So when that happens, for our day program, we'll be at 171 individuals that we're projecting, which is basically about 86% of our target, which is just unbelievable right now. It just means that the providers, the individuals, everybody who's been working through this have done a phenomenal job of what we were asking them to do. And we have 55 individuals for residential, which is basically 55% of the goal. We still have a ways to go to reach our goal for all this, but it's been incredible how everybody has seemed to be enthused about the different plans that we have, and there are a variety. We see a lot of providers who have really started talking about individuals moving into the supportive housing model, which is having working with a contractor that's building an apartment complex, and then setting aside apartments that would be for individuals who have ID, and then having a provider that provides the supports to them within that complex and stuff. The apartments are spread throughout the complex, so it's not like they're in one wing or something like that. So we've seen a lot of growth in that. So it's been fantastic. We're really excited about this. And in terms of what we're allocated to help in terms of incentivize that, and all this money came through the federal government, where we have 24 million that we've put aside for this, and right now if everybody gets placed and everybody moves forward, providers would receive an additional $17 million, which is a lot of money that hopefully will help in terms of keeping this momentum going. So I just wanted to give an idea, of where we're at. I think uh, we've done an incredible job. I mean, the regions have been phenomenal in terms of working with providers. Providers have been phenomenal. We've had Deloitte as our contractor, and they've done a phenomenal job. We have McDowell, who's been the communications consultant. They've done an unbelievable job. So it's been for all the projects and initiatives we've done. It's been incredible, the support that we've been receiving from everybody. So I just wanted to throw that out. I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding that. All right. If not, then I will move on. Some of the other things that we are working on, we are we've been, as one of our initiatives has been to increase the use of assistive technology. We have 3 vendors that will become almost like the preferred vendor in the regions. Oak Hill has been awarded the North and the South. Star Agency has been awarded the Fairfield County area, and Midstate Arc has been awarded the rest of the West region. These 3 agencies have been awarded a contract that we're still working through the process of getting the contract. But at this point, it looks like will be the startup for those contracts will start in January 1st, and hopefully by February 1st, we'll have the contractual piece worked out. But the idea here is that somebody who goes through these contractors will be able to have that contractor provide the assessment. They'll then determine what equipment is used. They'll then be able to submit that to DDS for approval. Once approval's given, that contractor will then order the supplies, install the supplies, and do the training to the staff and the individual for using that. So it'll be like an all-in-one type of service. It's a limited one right now. We have each provider will do somewhere around 100 in the year, 100 individuals. But we think that that's a great start, and hopefully that will be a model we'll be able to use going forward. Princess, I'm going to be reading through this, so if somebody has a question, just let me know, because I won't be able to see that. All right.
Okay. No problem. I'll check the chat.
Thanks. The other thing that we're doing, that we've done, is for public staff. We had 100 public staff attend a certification course for assistive technology. That ended on December 8th. We're trying now to review how all that went, how many individuals completed the course, and we'll be able to get that data once that's done, probably by beginning of next month. We have grant opportunities still out there again for assistive technology. This is for individuals and families, for providers, in order to increase the use of assistive technology. We're really working on our remote supports, and the remote supports for those, as a reminder, is an individual that chooses to use remote supports. A company would come in and assess the individual. They would put sensors and two-way communication devices into an apartment. The idea then is to monitor the individual, especially in the first couple of weeks. They'll look at person's life cycles. So they'll get to know their habits, their routines, and all that kind of stuff. And what they'll then be doing is monitoring, is there any changes to those routines? So for example, somebody comes in, they usually come in every day after work around 4 o'clock. They may turn the television on. They then will go get something to eat around 6 o'clock, and then they go to bed, go back to watch television, then they go to bed, let's say around 10 o'clock. If any of those routines are off, that could then generate a call from the virtual support provider, who will say, hey, is something going on? So for example, if the individual comes home and the television doesn't go on, and the individual doesn't use the refrigerator, doesn't open the refrigerator, doesn't use the microwave, doesn't use the stove, and now it's 7 o'clock. There'll be a communication. Is everything all right? Are you feeling okay? And you know, if they don't like the response, they then would ask the backup agency to go over and find out if there's any issues that the person may be having. This, of course, is something that would be used along with other supports. This isn't their sole supports, so it helps them with their independence, but they would still have support hours that they would use during the day, whether that's at a day program, whether that's somebody comes in and helps them in the morning or in the afternoon. They would still have all that stuff. This is just like another way to help increase the person's independence by monitoring their life cycles and stuff. Anyways, we have a consultant that we've been trying to get on board. It looks like that position was delayed for a little bit, but it looks like we're moving forward to get a consultant to help us to really start pushing that kind of support. And lastly, we have a program that we have called AT and Me. And this is where individuals are trained on assistive technology devices. So once they're trained, they're able to then are given a laptop. They're giving I think an iPad, the cell phone, and other pieces that they'll be able then to use. And so this is training individuals how to use this equipment. A lot of the training is done by our self-advocates. And once again, it's trying to introduce the technology to our individuals, a lot of peer-to-peer stuff. Right now, we're also looking at how do we make sure that we're keeping track of individuals and making sure that they're using the equipment and, you know, that they're being successful in that. We have our rewarding work is.
Peter?
Yep.
I think someone raised their hand. I saw a flash of a hand raised, but I wasn't sure who. I wasn't sure if it was Marina. Was it Marina or Claudine?
Hi,
Or maybe no.
Princess, it's Claudine. I did that by mistake, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter.
That's okay. That's all right. We have a rewarding work is our contractor that has a website that helps to find staff for individuals who self-direct their resources and hire their own staff. The rewarding work has revamped this website. We've had them for a number of years, but thanks to the American Relief Fund, we were able to enhance this and make this much more user-friendly. And we just did a webinar for individuals and case managers on how to use the website. We have staff involved. We do have staff that are looking for jobs. Surprisingly, Rewarding Work is part of their contract as they go out and they recruit people to come on to the website, and they go to different places. And so right now we're working with families, and that they'll be able to match who's the best candidate for their individual they support. And so hopefully we're looking at that. And we had 158 people who attended that. So I think that worked out fantastic. We're still in the analysis phase for our case management system. We have consultants now that we have on board that have been reviewing other states. And now they're looking at they've done an analysis of what we need, and now we're matching what's there. Our goal is to find something that another state is using, or that or that there's an off-the-shelf program that we can purchase. We don't want to build one ourselves because that's going to take too long, and we're trying to get this up and running. So once again, we're working through this to update our case management system. The whole universal assessment piece, we're still working with our state partners. We're now looking at taking a step back and working with our state partners to make sure that we understand what universal assessment means, what those changes would look at, and then how do the two agencies work together to move forward in terms of what that universal assessment will look like. Our critical incident initiative, we have a program called Pulse Light that looks at Medicare claims data. So we'll look at information that someone has gone to the hospital, and that there's been an injury. Let's say they cut their hand. We would then be able to take a look at that. Take a look, is there a history of these kind of injuries? Would look to see if there's an incident report that has been done. So our idea here is to make sure that we're monitoring issues so that individuals that have medical claims, that we're making sure that these are medical claims, and that not for whether the claim is actually a correct claim. Our more goal is to make sure that there's no abuse and neglect. So we would be looking at what the incident report has. So we've been doing some upgrades with this, kind of putting in what the lawn data is, so that we can try to really identify some of these high risk individuals and make sure that we're keeping tabs on some of this. And lastly, the last thing we're doing is our National Core Indicator Survey. We have worked with Yukon Health. We're going to be in our second year of our Memorandum of Understanding. Last year, we had a goal of 600 surveys, and that was reached. And so we're looking at how do we improve this, and now we're looking at how do we look at the data and analyze that a little bit better. So we're really honing in on that stuff. So that is my update. Whew.
Wow, that's quite a bit. Exciting stuff going on, and obviously there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Lauren, thanks for those links in the chat for the Rewarding Work website, and also where folks can find information on AT&Me, that application. Does anybody have any questions for Peter with any of the updates that he had? or comments?
You're on mute. Put yourself on mute, Princess.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Yep.
Oh, okay. It's not showing on mute, that it was on mute on my end. It's weird. I was just asking if anyone had any questions for Peter with any of the updates that he had. It was a lot of information, lots of great things still going on to continue. So if you have any questions or comments, let us know. And I mentioned
Gunner's got an update on terms of some of our STEP initiatives.
Thanks, Peter.
Oh,
Princess, I don't want to interrupt the agenda here. Mine will be relatively brief, but
no, you can go ahead. That's a part of that piece of the updates.
All right.
Good time.
Thanks. So hello, everyone. I know I've attended these calls previously. My name is Gunnar Abrahamson. I'm a DDS ARPA project coordinator. I've been on the ARPA team now for about 4 months, training alongside Peter Mason. So that's been a real unique opportunity. I just want to kind of give you an idea of, at the start of the ARPA period, in conjunction with our private provider community, individuals and families, and our consulting partners over at Deloitte, DDS developed a number of what we are now calling action steps. And a lot of these action steps focus on moving larger goals or larger focal points of our ARPA initiative forward. So there are a number of action steps assigned to the task of bolstering our outreach and support to individuals and families, strengthening those communication efforts. There are a number of action steps that focus on diversifying employment options that are offered through the agency. We have action steps that are associated with strengthening our assistive technology and remote supports apparatus, some of which Peter just alluded to in his update, that AT&Me peer training program, some of the notice of opportunities that the department currently has out around AT, bringing in consultants for remote supports services. We have a number of action steps that are assigned to strengthening community connections and supporting our private providers. The idea behind developing a number of these tasks was to give DDS a sense of where we are at in terms of progress towards completion with the various facets of our ARPA initiative. In addition to that, the department is also of the opinion that it is very important to have a idea or a centralized location where we can track all the tangible outcomes of our ARPA initiative. So when legislators, individuals and families, providers come back and say, what did you do with all the federal funding that your department received? We can relate back to this tasker and report out on the various tangible outcomes that we achieved. So when these tasks were developed, individual owners, DDS staff, were assigned to carry out and complete these tasks. I have seen a large amount of progress being made in terms of moving these various tasks, moving these various initiatives forward. And the idea is that as we approach the end of the ARPA period in March 2025, you'll see a number of these tasks be completed. A number of those tangible outcomes have been successfully completed, and that's basically moved us towards that transformational change that we're after through utilization of those ARPA funds. So the tasker is always a bit difficult to explain. What I want to do here real quick is share my screen. I want to show you what it looks like, and I want to talk a little bit about the specifics in terms of the tasks that are currently assigned out to various owners. So can everyone see my screen here?
Yes.
So as you can see at the bottom, we have the various focal points of the ARPA initiative. Outreach and support to individuals and families and private providers. We have diversifying employment options. We have assistive tech and remote supports. We have community connections. We have supporting providers. These are all focal points that the department really wanted to focus on and push some of that federal funding, push some of those take a closer look at building out some of these focal points of the initiative, some of these focal points of services and supports offered by DDS. So looking in the outreach and support tab, one of the current assigned action steps is sharing support videos and definition one-pagers with providers around our STEP initiative and the STEP supports, those highlighted supports and services through STEP. We have rolled out a number of support videos that detail things like employment. We are working on a video that kind of encompasses, the use and applicability of assistive technology. And we have rolled out a number of one-pagers that help highlight those supports, that are a focal point of STEP. Taking a look at the assistive technology and remote support page, again, one of the tangible outcomes here that's in progress is creating one-pagers or additional documents to spread information on remote supports for employment. That's both to external and internal stakeholders, just to provide more communications around remote supports as that service becomes more readily available through the department. Looking at the community connections tab, and again, I'm just touching on a few of these, creating resources and guidance for case managers and support teams that can be used to emphasize strengthening support circles in individual plan discussions. So again, involving all those stakeholders to better support the individual, whether they're transitioning underneath STEP, or whether they're making a move to a new support or service within the department. And then lastly, our supporting providers tab, creating an FAQ document based on provider questions around our STEP initiative. So I just touched on 4 or 5. As you can see, there are a number of individual tasks that are assigned out to owners. And again, the idea is that as these start to be moved towards completion, we move closer and closer to that transformational change. So I think, Peter had touched on a number of the initiatives that fall underneath the broader umbrella that is ARPA. I just touched on the various action steps. I think currently the picture seems to be a bit blurry, right? It's hard to see how all of this is going to eventually fit together and achieve that transformational change. I think what you're going to see over the next year and a half are all these initiatives, all these action steps, all these puzzle pieces starting to come together to help paint that bigger picture of how the department is moving forward, how it's changing to better support individuals. So I wanted to provide you with that brief update on some of the progress being made there. Does anyone have any questions, comments, any feedback? Great. Princess, I will turn it back over to you. Thanks.
We have a quiet bunch today. All right, thank you so much, Gunnar. This is Princess DDS here. I did have a question. I wanted to know if the tracker and everything that you explained is really amazing, and that really speaks to what one of the questions I had later that we were going to be bringing up about just looking beyond the committee, beyond kind of what we've established with all of the committees and the work and all the efforts that's gone into things. So you touched based on the monitoring and the quality aspects of things, the action steps, and just how this tracking and data system will come together for us. I wanted to know if the version that the stakeholders would be seeing of the tracker, is it going to look like what you just showed us, or is it going to be a different kind of format, and where would we be able to find that to follow along?
Princess, I may be off target on this, but there's currently one tracker that we utilize for internal staff that's available through the intranet. We have not talked about developing what that end product will look like, but there will come a time when we share the overall objective and the individual action steps with the broader community to give them a sense of what it is we achieved, what we worked on. I think those discussions are ongoing.
All right, thanks so much for clarifying that. Appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions for Gunnar about what he talked about, any of the action steps or anything like that? It was very well presented, so thank you so much, Gunnar.
Thanks,
for
Princess.
that. All right, so moving on, Lauren, do you have any updates to share around communication I know we've had some really good things on the continuation of the office hours and forums and events that case managers and supervisors have participated in. You want to speak to any of that development and anything onward beyond?
Yeah, sure. This is Lauren Gray from DDS. I'm putting so we have our next iteration of case manager office hours tomorrow. A reminder was sent out, and you can see the information in the link in the chat on the case manager's resource page. The office hours are tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We'll have quite a few things to share, and we're always interested in feedback and concerns. So please join that.
Hey, Lauren, this is
Yes.
Gunner. This is Gunner DDS. The office hours are today at 1 o'clock.
Oh my gosh, today is Wednesday. I'm so sorry. I keep thinking today is Tuesday, and I'm really sorry. Thank you, Gunner. You're right. They are today, Wednesday, December 13th at 1 p.m. The link for the Microsoft Teams is still in the chat. So I'm very sorry about that. But we've had really good sessions this year, and very proud of all the feedback and implementation items that we've been able to make happen, based out of those meetings. The feedback has been so helpful for us as we continue to move all of our action items and step forward. I don't really have a whole lot of step updates. We are continuing the step video series. The employment video is almost finalized. So in January, we're going to plan to have a launch party for the employment video and the self-direction video. The self-direction video is already live, but it wasn't ready for the watch party. So we're just going to play those two videos in January. So stay tuned for that. And we hope the videos will continue to be a good resource to use. The STEP website is in the chat. We continue to update it based on, feedback that we receive, questions that we receive. So that's coming up. And then we have the biggest project I'm trying to work on right now, that's taking up most of my time, is the new website. So we're really hoping to get all of the content finalized by the end of this month, so over the next couple of weeks. And then our launch date that we have tentatively scheduled is now January 15th and 16th. We're going to do an all staff preview the first week of January once everything is ready and finalized. So we have a lot of content to sort through, some improvements to make, and some accessibility issues to address. But we're very excited for how this is going to look. And I'll give you the photos are not finalized. They are draft photos. Obviously, we don't want this as our homepage photo, but it will be a lot easier to navigate and find things compared to our current website, which just has a bunch of, and random but important links. Our new website will be a lot easier to navigate and find things and just be a little bit better organized. And it will mimic all of the other agencies' websites as they update as well. So this will be coming in January, and we'll do an all staff training and walkthrough at the beginning of January before it launches. So that's really like taking up the majority of my time over the next couple weeks.
Thank you, Lauren. That's great. We're excited about that that new website. I want to say that, or to add, that the case management office hours are also attended by resource managers too as well. That link is shared throughout for case managers as well. So we've been getting some really good feedback. I know I've attended most of them, and I know that the feedback that I've been getting from case managers and they've shared with both you and Gunnar too as well, has been that the follow-up has been amazing. The inclusion has been phenomenal for case managers, just touching base and making sure that any concerns or questions that we have are addressed, and certainly addressed even at the next forum too as well. So it's been a really good forum to get communication from and feedback from case managers, and having staff just be able to interact directly with our communications team and leadership around these common issues and concerns that we may be seeing with regard to the transition and step, so that we can address those things and get ahead of those. So it's been really phenomenal, and we're hoping that that's something that will continue as far as forums go. So and certainly looking forward to this new launch of the website too as well.
Right,
And
and
I
I
know.
think, oh,
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
this is really quick. This is Lauren Gray from DDS, and we are planning on continuing that series throughout 2024. And Gunnar will be sending out that communications as well.
That's wonderful. And I know everyone else will be very happy to hear that too as well. Okay, and I know that McDowell, I don't believe McDowell is present now, so you did share some feedback or updates as to what's been going on with the communications consultants with the videos, and I think that's the latest update to share. Is that it, Lauren?
Yes, that's it for now.
All right, thanks so much. All right, and Peter touched based on some of the transformational planning in lieu of Deloitte. I don't believe Deloitte is present, but Peter touched on quite a bit.
Hi, Princess.
I'm
This is
sorry.
Owen from Deloitte. I'm here for Betsy.
Good morning, Owen. I apologize. I did not notice that that you were present here. Did you want to share some updates on behalf of Deloitte? We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I can definitely give a quick update.
Thanks.
Mostly about our new TA approach, which I will share my screen really quickly. So as I'm sure we've shared with you in the past, we host both weekly TA office hours to help providers work through their strategic plans. And then also we have one-on-one sessions available by request, which have definitely ticked up in recent months after we spoke to both the ARC and the Alliance. We've been getting some more interest for those one-on-ones. Our office hours, however, have not been super well attended. So in the new year, we are thinking through kind of a more topic focused approach, because we've had a lot of success when we hold a special session focused on, say, the Appendix K incentives. Those were super well attended, and we got lots of engagement and questions from there. So in 2024, our plan is to start off with 2 spotlights on the step provider plan summaries, and divide them into 2 sessions, one for residential providers and one for day providers, just to give folks a sense, if they were not able to join the ARC or the Alliance meeting, of what other providers in their space are doing throughout implementation and what their planning efforts look like. And then to also have some of those providers talk through successful transitions and best practices, just to make this more of a conversation. So ideally, we drum up some interest in that way, and then we will kind of continue on with some of the specific topics that we have been using, and also continue to source ideas from providers on what they're interested in learning about. So, for example, another idea is to talk through specifically how to use step incentives once you have them, especially to support staffing and procuring assistive technology equipment, which are all things that we've heard are interesting for providers that are participating in STEP. So we feel like we'll get a little bit more interest from providers, and kind of keep moving towards spending the rest of that ARPA funding. But yeah, this is going to be our plan going forward. And we're also working with Stacy Silva Gordon on one of the action steps that Gunnar flashed up earlier that focuses on the need for standing up new provider collaboration forums. So she and our team are working to kind of understand what the appetite is for that on the provider side. And then once we understand that, getting a path forward to see if there are more opportunities for collaboration and things like that. But yeah, that was our TA update today.
Great, thank you so much, Owen. We appreciate that update. All right, does anybody have any questions for Owen with regard to the update for providers? All right, Owen, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, so we're moving right along here. We did touch base already. The last thing on the agenda was just some future communication and planning divisional stuff that we have going on. And Lauren did touch base on the forums continuing. So thank you, Lauren, for answering that piece through 2004 for staff. And also, I wasn't sure if I know the case management hours are going to continue. You said the forums were too? The series of forums are going to be continuing?
Which forums?
The office hours are going to be continuing? I know you
Right.
said that the series of forums will continue. Would the office hours continue?
Right, that's what I meant. So the
Oh,
case
okay.
manager and resource manager office hours will be a continuing series throughout 2024, and Gunnar will be sending out those communications.
Okay. And would there be any continuation of the forums attended by Deputy Commissioner Velardo?
Yes.
Providers
The
too as well? Okay.
Yeah, the fourth Tuesday forums, those that schedule and topic, um, the schedule and topics were just finalized. So we're working on a save the date flyer, and
Okay.
we'll be adding those to the website and communicating that out as well.
All right, great. Does anybody else have any questions or comments they'd like to share? This is our final meeting as a committee. We want to thank you guys for your participation, for your feedback. It's been very, very valuable, certainly to the department and stakeholders, to have everyone here with, range of expertise and support to move the efforts forward for this project or this initiative. So on behalf of myself and Chris, I want to thank everyone for participating and joining and for being a part of this. If anyone has any questions, let me know first. Let me just check in.
This is Lauren Gray from DDS. I just want to say thank you, Princess, for your leadership and your collaboration and your teamwork. I know the feedback from this committee has been so helpful for improving and enhancing our communications and outreach. So thank you so much for your partnership, collaboration, and your leadership.
Oh, thank you, Lauren.
I would also like to say the same thing. Princess, you've done a great job as the chairperson, so thank you for that. And I also want to thank all the committee members. And, it was very helpful to hear from all of you in terms of your views, your input. We do take that stuff very seriously, and we have used that as we're going forward. So I just want to thank you all for taking the time to be part of this. It has been very, very informative and very useful. So thank you.
Welcome.
All right. And we appreciate you, Peter, and I know that you're going to be moving on Thursday. Apparently, it's real. I'm hanging on, but we thank you so much for all your expertise and just your invaluable efforts and contributions to the department, certainly in this project as well. We certainly could not have done it without you. So
you.
we wish you well. We wish you well in your endeavors. as well. And Cress hasn't joined us, but on behalf of Cress and myself too, as well, and our committee, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
It's
right.
been a great initiative. I think the department has done so much over the last year and a half, and it's just for a state department to do what we've done is just incredible. So it has been a great, rewarding experience.
It really has been, and for it to have stretched across, just the feedback from families and folks that are well underway with transitions right now. I know some case managers that are with the project and feeling informed, feeling supported, feeling that the information and everything, just the goals that we had as a committee here, I feel like we've really met those goals as far as keeping case management and stakeholders informed, included, and certainly able to access the information that we've presented quite a bit of information. So our communications division has really done a phenomenal job with supporting and collaborating internally with that. And it's been a huge feat just getting over the hump of getting to know what this is and what we're doing. And you guys really spoke to, how the department is going to continue to address and support that and move this forward beyond, 2023. So certainly looking forward to seeing all the great things. So I just wanted to thank everyone again. If no one has any questions, then we'll adjourn our final meeting. Oh, that's Marina.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
good afternoon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.